welcome to another episode of Cadence Fishing TV. And I'm salmon fishing this week up in the very north of Scotland in Caithness, and we're fishing on the River Thurso, which is a river I've grown to really love. I fish here every year with my friends. We come for a week's fishing in the spring and also at the back end in September. And just to set the scene, this is beat 2, and we're fortunate that we've had some good rain in the last few days, so the river's about a foot up and we've got some absolutely fantastic conditions. I'm sharing a rod today with my great friend and brand ambassador Ian Gordon, and Ian's fishing up on the mill pool at the moment, so I'm just going to let him fish through the pool, and I think I'll go and have a chat with him and find out what he's doing and how he's getting on.
How's it going then, James?
All right, Ian, how are you?
I'm good, good, yes, it's glorying on here.
You enjoying yourself?
I am. I'm surprised I've not got in yet.
Whoa,
I'm really
we had you down
surprised.
for a fish on that first run.
Totally. I did see quite a good trout up there. There was a hatch came off about maybe 10 minutes ago, James, and there was a good trout just off the end of it. But I tell you what, see the bit between the two bits of foam? That looked really good.
Yeah, it's a wonderful pool, this, the mill stream.
Bloody lovely.
I think we'll probably definitely make sure we fish this 2 or 3 times today.
I reckon if we don't connect with a fish in here, there'll be something. I'm going to start going to the church.
Start praying.
I'm going to start going to the church. I've not been going enough, James. All these bad things seem to be happening, you know. So I reckon it should be in.
But you look to be enjoying yourself,
just
getting some fishing in.
Yeah, magic, absolutely magic. And I tell you what it did, James. I had really good memories of like 3 different places coming down there. And people as well. I always get that when I go to a new bit of fishing. Something
you've never
magic
actually
about
fished the
it.
Thurso before,
Never ever fished it, no. I've never fished it, but I really did like coming down that pool. I mean, I love the look of the pool. I can see why everybody likes it. There's no doubt about it. It's not unlike the Devon in a lot of ways, character-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
size, speed of current. I mean, character. Obviously not on the outside, you know. I think it's Devon's much more tree line, but I mean the flow of the river is very similar to a lot of the places on the sort of middle to lower Devon. Yeah.
Well, the great thing about the river is the beats are so long. I mean, we've got 2 rods today. We've got Stu fishing down the bottom of beat 2. And obviously we're sharing a rod.
Yes.
But I mean, honestly, you'd struggle to fish the whole beat in a day. And I think that's fantastic. And it's true of pretty much all the beats on the river.
Well,
there's so much to go at.
For me, we talked about this last night, James, and for me, that really epitomises good management of a salmon river. Yeah. You know,
it's not overriding.
Definitely
so the fish aren't getting too
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a wild resource. And everyone knows there are not as many as there were in the past. So you have to treat it that way, you know. Treat it gently, you know. Don't hound it and splash around and, you know, a dozen people fishing when there should only be 2. I mean, that's really what the mark of really good management in a fishery, for me, anyway. I think that's brilliant.
No, I totally agree.
I really love the whole idea of that.
To me, that's a great thing. You really get away from it when you're fishing here.
Just fabulous.
I mean, I just love coming on holiday here, switch my phone off, you know, go out for the day, and I just find it so relaxing.
As you say, well, relaxing's what I've had coming down there, James, because, like I said, it gave me good memories. The primroses on the bank are beautiful, you know, and that reminds me of someone, you know, and a place. It's just fabulous. There's up that wee valley, the little cut up there. There was like king cups. I reckon somebody had planted them. That reminded me of somebody else. My boss's sister, my old boss's sister. And then I had the railway behind me. That reminded me of Gowla, hearing the train coming, chugging down the valley, you know.
It's all those things, and then you hear the skylark.
That's it. That was the other one.
I was watching the Harrier up there.
Fantastic.
I mean, it's just fantastic.
It is. It is.
So I think, Ian, you've given that a good go.
We have.
I think we're going to walk down now. We're going to miss these next two pools, and we're going to go and fish Lower Buckies, I think it's
Lower
called.
Buckies.
You'll like that
Lower
one.
Buckies.
So we'll try that.
I like Buckies. Good fish shop in Bucky.
Let's do that then, all right.
Definitely. Aye. I'll maybe actually give you this rod back, James, because you're obviously left-handed and...
Oh, right.
I mean...
You're struggling with it.
Well, my God. Aye. I wouldn't be doing...
Khaki-handed.
I wouldn't be doing anything else with my left hand, that's for sure. Must have been a knot in here when I picked the rod up, James.
Oh, was there? A wind
I think so.
I wasn't so sure about that, but I'm not thinking that you'd ever get a wind knot, obviously. It must have been me.
The wee varmint, look at him. Little varmint. There we go. Nice fly though. That was Davey that gave us that, eh?
Davey gave us
Davey
that.
gave us
One of
that.
the gillies who looks after us, and
yeah, nice loon.
he recommended that.
Cracking looking fly.
He's caught 3 fish off with that fly last week, and our mate Nigel caught 2 beauties yesterday on that fly.
Oh, I'm going to take a picture of it for Leslie.
Yeah,
Leslie will have them all tied up, different forms with tubes and God knows all what. Yep, good stuff, pal. But no, it's a lovely river, James. Really beautiful. See this, king cups.
Yeah,
king cups.
it is. It's a harsh environment, but
lovely. Like.
And it's, it's been so far north. It is behind the rest of the country, I think. In terms of the spring.
Aye, for sure.
I just love it.
For sure, and the agriculture as well, because I was watching the guys on the fields, totally different to where we are, you know. But I love the character of the river, James. Beautiful. Yep, well kept. All good, well, all good. Yep.
So Ian, the weather's taken a bit of a turn for the worse for a moment.
Aye.
Typical Caithness kind of day.
Aye, well it's just northeast Scotland, that's where it is. Well, it's far north of Scotland here.
But we don't mind the water, and
fine.
it's good fishing conditions. But I thought we'd just reference the rods we're using today.
Yep.
We're using a 12'6" version.
Yep.
Tell us about your thinking there.
So, I mean, size of river, James. We're going to have some great fun with these springers on these when we catch them on it, with no doubt about it. We've had one of the guys using these on this river just last week, and it worked perfectly, he said. You know, we talked to him earlier, and he just loved the way that this rod worked on this river. It was exactly the right size.
So just to sort of make it clear, obviously a bigger river like the Spey, the Tweed, the Tay, you need a longer rod typically to cover the water. But this river, the Thurso, it's a narrow river, and you can cover the water much easier. And perhaps the shorter rod enables you to do that in an easier way, and perhaps with more finesse as well.
Yes, I think the finesse is a big part of that, James. Maybe not quite so when the water's up like it is today, but generally speaking it is, you know. In a smaller river, especially a shallow one like this, it's important not to spook the fish, you know. And that's when, like a spey line, for instance, is a really, really good tool when the water's clear like this. The last thing you want to be doing is spooking fish. The actions of these rods are so easy, open actions, deep actions. It makes it easy to cast.
It's been great. It's been great fun using them this week. And that's the rod I've used, a 12'6".
Yep.
And for me, you know, I feel I'm covering the water, and I'm covering it in a really efficient way. It's not tiring me out. I just absolutely love them.
No, it's perfect for the job. It's exactly what they were designed to be used in, you know.
Come on.
Perfect conditions.
Let's do some fishing.
We're going.
Come on.
Going. Come on. Yep.
Well, Ian, I just fished through Long Buckies.
Aye.
And it was beautiful. One of my favourite pulls on beat too, this one. But I like to fish through quite quickly.
Yep.
And no result again, but...
Well, but the fish have to be here, James. I mean, this is just the type of pools that you're going to see fish stopping off in, just for that wee minute.
Yeah.
And basically, for me, it's spring fishing Okay, it's a different river, new river to me, but the tactics are kind of the same.
Yeah.
I mean, you're searching for these fish.
I always remember you kind of called it hunting for them when you're fishing like this.
That's it,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, what a lovely place to do it, because there are so many potential places that you could be catching fish, and a lot of places that a fish might just be potentially sitting into and holding on just before they head upstream again, you know. So,
well, you've set your rod up now, haven't you, with the right reel?
I have. I've definitely got it with the right hand reel. With the, you know, because there's something about reeling with your right hand. You know, it's just right.
I think because of my sort of past with course fishing, always reeling with my left, then that's why I use it that way.
There's so many people, you know, that argue the point about right and left hand line. I mean, Christ almighty, it's just whichever
whatever you want to do.
You know,
but you're going to go up and fish that pool opposite the hut. I think it's Finlay's pool.
Finlay's pool.
And you fancy fishing it from the other side? Is that what you're going to do?
No, I tell you, that was the very top pool. When I started there, James, I kind of thought,
up on the mill stream.
There was something about it. When I went up there, James, I saw the inside corner at the other side, and I thought, I can easily reach it.
Yeah.
So I decided to have a go with a long line. Yeah. Pop it over in there. But my gut instinct was to get over there and fish it with a shorter line from the other side. You know?
Got you.
So the first time doing, I've done it that way. Second time doing, I think I'm going to pop over to that other side and have a wee
obviously,
go.
we've got both banks, so that's another great advantage. And many times when it's a windy day, which you want on the Thurso, you can get the wind behind you to help with the casting. So
sure.
Let's go and do that,
We'll do it. What was the thing again that they say? 6 inches of
David
ripple?
says 6 inches of ripple is equivalent to 6 inches of rising water.
On the
so I think, you know, the river is a shallow river.
Yeah.
When it's flat calm, it's easy to spook the fish.
Yeah.
So that ripple wind really helps, particularly on some of the slower beats, like up on 7, 6, 5. There's some slower sections that can be very productive. Just a different way of fishing, but wind is pretty much essential for that.
It's really interesting. Doesn't come into my way of thinking on this.
No.
Really interesting.
It's different, and
but the different does similar. You see.
Right then, come on, let's go and do it.
Go, we're going.
Well, Ian, you're looking at a great position there.
Well, I'll tell you what, James, I've just come off the bank because we've got a strong wind coming down here, and normally you could have, with this gear, you could have easily hit that. It's 30 odd yards away. You could have hit it for the bank with an overhead cast. There's plenty of room behind you. Yeah. However, because the way the wind's coming, I would have to do that off my left shoulder. Yeah. It's not just quite as easy, the overhead cast off my left shoulder. So what I'm thinking is, I've got a shallow run here. I'm trying to, because the fish, I'm told, are not far off that far bank, and I've got the wind coming down here just now, I'm going to do a snake roll, James.
Brilliant. You know? Perhaps if you could just take us through the cast, that would be really helpful. Just explain the mechanics of it.
The snake roll is it's a great cast. Basically, it's like you're flipping the whole line into the air, like you can see. So it's just it's the way I like to describe it. It's a bit like drawing a rugby ball. Yeah. That's it. And so we'll come to the point of the rugby ball slowly, up here, and then we flick the line up in there, and then we just complete the rugby ball.
But the way you make it look so easy, obviously, Ian, but I know. It's like a continuous movement. The tempo is really key, isn't it?
It is absolute key to this.
So you're not starting it and stopping and then going again.
No,
it's one continuous.
It's one continual motion, and that's what we call a snake roll. Yeah. If I was on the bank, and I had some tough conditions by the bank, I would do what I call a slow snake roll. Okay. And that one there has a stop in it. Yeah. So it's basically just a snake roll, but with a pause. Okay. And I'll show you that one. Okay. So this is what we call a slow snake roll. Okay. So this one's got a stop in it. Just a different tempo. So it's the same, up and over, but stop there, let the line anchor, and then just make yourself a roll cast after that. That cast, you're never going to break any records distance-wise with it. But I can tell you, It's a fish catching cast.
It's very practical,
It's
like you say.
really,
if you've
really good.
got obstructions.
If you've got obstructions behind you,
Yeah.
it's a magic cast, James. Really, really good. Like I say, you don't break any records for distance or anything like that. But for that kind of conditions, it's a brilliant cast because you don't need any room behind you at all. Whereas with the snake roll, you need room behind you for the D-loop to form. So we'll show you that one again. Look, we'll do the snake roll, one. So here's the snake roll coming up. One continuous movement. And that's a really dynamic cast because everything's kept under tension throughout the whole move, you know.
Yeah.
Where the slow snake roll, that's the one with the stop, the one that you would fish off the bank. That's a super cast for big heavy flies as well.
I love it, Ian. Thanks for that. That's really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
But listen, concentrate on the fishing now. That looks really good over on that far bank to me.
I'm gonna wait to concentrate and try and catch a fish, James, and none of this casting nonsense anymore.
Nah, it's
We've
all
done
brilliant.
The casting nonsense. Now we're doing the fishing, pal. So I'm just gonna actually check my fly because in replacing my line, I could see that I caught my line, and I'm fishing a dropper today.
Yeah.
Not often I fish a dropper, but
Yeah.
but
Good
just gonna
idea
have a
to
wee
check it.
I'll just check it before I start, and then we'll go and catch one, pal. Yep.
Ian, I'll probably try and bring him just a bit down below me. What do you think?
Yep.
He's pretty tired now. You beauty!
Well done, pal.
It's all right. Come here, man. Come out. We'll just revive him for a sec here and now. So, Ian, you were spot on about this bank, weren't you?
That's where I thought there would
Yeah.
be a fish, just
Yeah.
on this side.
And what was interesting,
Yep.
I saw a fish move literally 2 or 3 casts before,
So
and it
just
took it.
In fact, you're in the right place
Yeah,
when there's a fish actually there.
yeah. That's what it is with spring fishing, isn't it?
Spring fishing, pal.
Monty wants to retrieve it, so I'm having to hold on to him. But
Monty's just quite keen. He's a good gilly, Monty, but just a wee bit ambitious and over enthusiastic. So
it wasn't helping matters. But anyway, I'm so pleased to get it. What a cracking fish!
absolute beauty, James. And she's just sitting there in the net there, just now,
Yeah.
getting herself a wee bit of breath back. A wee bit like myself. Yes.
Thanks for coming round.
No problem, Pally, no problem.
Well,
wait a minute.
do you want to see if you can unhook her and I'll keep hold of Mont?
So that was what was the name of it? Was it Finlanson's pool, James?
Something like that. I'm not sure. I just call it the one below the hut.
The one below the hut. But
Yeah.
you were confident in it.
Well,
Tried to get over here. It was a good, definitely a good shout.
I've caught fish off here before, and as you said, Ian, sometimes it's always good to go over on the other bank and try it from a different side.
Without a shadow of a doubt, trying it through a different angles, it was a good thing, James. And it did look good over here, I have to say. James.
She's a beautiful fish, isn't she? What would you say, about £8?
Say 8.5. It was a good 8.5, maybe even 9. Yep.
Well, look,
very good.
I'm going to let her go now. We've had a fantastic fight off her, but she's fully revived, so
Perfect.
I'll let her go now, all right?
Well done, you pal. Well done. Yeah,
Cheers, Ian.
all good.
There she goes, look.
She goes back in. The beautiful River Thurso, right up to my feet here, and there she goes.
Wow.
Buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Well done, Wood. Well
Thanks
done.
a lot.
Well done. Excellent.
That was I knew it was a salmon. I thought I've spooked it all.
Yeah.
So I did. I just moved upstream,
Yeah. But,
covered it, and about third cast after that, I got it.
well, see when I was walking down through here, I mean, I can see exactly why. This, in my mind, fishes better. Because when I was fishing it there, when I finished, the fly, and when it was coming into this area, it just wasn't moving.
Yeah.
Just there was no drifting the fly out there. You would have to fish it with a really short line over off that side to cover that proper, and maybe stand a wee bit far back in the bank. But for this side, that fly is going to swing straight away.
It was great, and I think if you look at the line of the river, maybe if a fish is coming up through that sort of funnel in the weir, you know, that's the kind of line that it might be taking to come over here. I don't know. But anyway,
bloody good.
We did it. Your turn now, mate. Come on.
Get one. You need to get one. Right. Monty boy. Monty the deal. Salmon flies. They always have an up eye on a salmon fly. So you can see that the eye there is facing up the way. On a trout fly, that eye is facing down the way. On a salmon fly, up the way. Generally speaking, anyway. So what we do with the double turtle is that we take the nylon here, and I'm quite impressed that I don't need my glasses for this. The reason is that I'm using sort of 20-pound nylon. So I'm going to pop that up from below. On a trout fly, on a down-eyed fly, I would put it in from above, but as a salmon fly, I'm going to put it from below. So there we go. We throw that away down here, and for a moment we forget totally about the fly. What we do is we make 2 loops. It's a double turtle. We make 2 loops. So we go once, twice, sort of largest loops. You don't want to make them too small. And you can see that we end up with this. So it's 2 loops plus a little end there. Now when you're doing this for the first time, what I would suggest is leave a bigger end, but as I'm a really mean Scotsman, I don't want to waste any of this nylon because it all costs money, and so I'm going to use just enough. But if you're practicing this, maybe a bit of a longer one. So what I then do is, having made the 2 loops, I'm then going to make a half hitch. So a half hitch over the top of the 2 loops, underneath, and back through the small loop there. So that's what we now have. We have a half hitch around the 2 loops, like so. Just like that. Okay? So then we pull this taut. Not tight, taut. Here, like so. My dentist used to give me an awful row for doing that. So we pull it taut. The next phase is really important because you can see that this little end is facing away from me here, there just now. So I don't want it like this, facing towards me. I want it facing away from me. Then I'm going to take the fly and I'm going to drop it like so, back onto the knot. Look, with the little end facing away from me, just like that. I'm going to trap the knot between my thumb, forefinger and the eye of the fly, and then I'm going to pass the fly and, importantly, this little end here through the 2 loops. I'm going to use this finger to trap the 2 loops there, and now I'm going to, because my hand's clear again, I'm going to take the little end and I'm going to push it onto the shank of the hook, like so. Once that is trapped on the shank of the hook, I can then let go again with my right hand. It leaves me with this 2 loops with the knot right on top of the eye of the hook, and I start pulling. Now, here's the tricky part as well. Not so tricky, but very important. So what we do is, as we pull this, you'll see one of the loops go smaller. There. Never keep pulling or you'll get a curl in the line. So get the small loop and pull that one. There. And now I can do this one. And that's a fantastic knot for a salmon fly because it holds the fly in perfect plane all the time. The fly can't move around as it can with a blood knot. that holds it perfectly. As the line tightens up, so the two loops tighten up on the shank of the hook, so there's not one point of the nylon that's taking the pressure there. So it's almost like a fail-safe knot, that, if it's tied properly. The old guys that I used to see didn't even bother snipping that back because they weren't worried about it at all, but I kind of quite like snipping it back. It makes the whole fly look a wee bit better. And there we go. A perfect double turle, tied on a windy day and a wet day on the Thurso. Good fly though. Right, okay.
Right then, Ian, that was interesting, wasn't it? Yep. We've had a good go in the mill stream, and we've seen some fish.
For sure.
So I saw a nice fish head and tail.
Yep.
And we've seen two or three fish move, haven't we? So
we'll have an interesting time as well, because we saw one down at the bottom there, just coming into the pool, and I'm not so sure that it wasn't the same fish.
Yeah.
Just further up here when we tried it a second time.
Yeah.
We got him to come to the fly, but he didn't quite grab it.
Yeah.
But I reckon the fish were still moving up, James.
Yeah. I think that's the case. Obviously, with this good water, and the fact that we're so low down on the river, you know, just beat two, probably 5 miles from the sea. The fish are travelling, aren't they?
For sure.
And I guess it's always the way. There's going to be some that are just not stopping where you're fishing.
And for me, James, it's always just a question. When they're like that, and you've got the river just out of order for that beat a wee bit, and the fish are running through, that's when you need to get the fly right there, right in front of them.
Absolutely.
So I think, well, what do you think? You think we should
I think you were unlucky not to get one then.
I was.
And what I would say is let's go down and fish Finlay's pool. What is it, Ian?
That's as bad as ladies.
It's the one below the
Finlaysons.
Okay. Well, we'll go and fish that, and we'll fish it from this side.
Aye.
At the top part of the pool. And cover that far bank.
Aye. And then I'm going to come to the shore, James. Yeah. And I'm going to fish at a short line, down round that corner.
Good idea.
I think that's the way to do it. And then we'll take it on for there. Maybe after that I'll go back home because I'm fishing Delphi tomorrow in the Spey, so
you've got you've got a big day tomorrow. But I think, I mean, it's exciting. When you see fish like that, it gives you heart, doesn't it? I think spring fishing can be a bit demoralising at times.
It does, but as soon as you see a wee bit of action, and it just lifts the spirits, and you think, oh. Well, basically, fishing's all about that anticipation.
Absolutely.
And it lifts that level of anticipation. Simple as that, you know.
Well, I know Stu's fishing down there as well, so I'd love him to get one.
Brilliant.
And I think we'll probably give it another hour.
Yep.
And then maybe time for a wee dram. For me, not for you, because you're driving back, obviously.
Maybe not so wee either. You've already caught a fish today, pal.
So I'm made up about that. But let's give it another hour. Try a few more spots, and you never know. Come on.
We're in there.
Let's do it.
The sea shall not have them.
Let's do it.
We're gone.
Well, Ian, I think we're going to call it a day. You've fished hard, and the weather's taken a bit of a turn for the worse, hasn't it? It's getting quite cold now.
A wee bit, That easterly's coming in right down the river and this bit of it, James. But I tell you, I've really enjoyed the day, particularly this afternoon, fishing this pool in here. And I loved that wee corner down there as well, where you get your fish.
Yeah.
That was a cracking little bit of fishing.
Yeah, well, I think we did the right thing. We've concentrated on these pools. We know they're great pools.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you look at the beat map and you see how many pools are available, it's unbelievable.
You could have fished loads and loads of pools James, but at the end of the day, you're always better, I think, concentrating on the ones that you know perform well.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
anyway, that's that, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Fishing with that 12-foot 6 rod,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely
been great fun, and it's been great to fish with you again, Ian,
Aye.
and look forward to catching up again soon.
Aye, well, it won't be too long, for sure. We'll get back in the Spey, maybe.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I'm heading there in the morning.
Oh, well, have a good trip back, and
Good lad.
I'm heading to the bar, and I'm going to
Good
have
lad.
a nice whiskey.
A large one.
Cheers,
A
mate.
large one.
Thanks a
Okay,
lot.
Cheers, pal. Yep.
I'm just about to start fishing again on the River Thurso. This is beat 13. Beat 13 is the top beat that we fish on the river, and you can see that this is Loch Moor above the dam, and we're so lucky to have this water. We've got over a foot of water now, which is setting up really nicely for the rest of the week for us. And there was a lot of fish running yesterday, so we're all full of anticipation for today. But you can see the salmon ladders there that the salmon will be running on now with this height of water, and once they're into Loch Moor, they're basically free then. The river comes in over on the far side, and there's as much of the river above the loch as there is below, so it's a fantastic sanctuary for the fish. The other great advantage is when we've got water like this in the loch, one of the gillies was telling me that there's a month's worth of flow on the river, so it's a fantastic resource to have this, particularly on a spate river like the Thurso, a shallow river, because it does help to guarantee some fishing when there hasn't been some rain. Well, I'm going to get fishing now. I just wanted to thank the staff at the Obster Arms for looking after us, all the gillies, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the week. Thanks for watching. you.